Hey, you guys, it's Andrea again. And today for episode 202, I am speaking with somebody who I've followed for probably 8 or 9 years now, Nicole Johnson of the Baby Sleep site. And we've actually never met in person or on video or anything. I am super excited because I have personally used the Baby Sleep site as my go-to resource for helping my baby sleep. I am an infant potty training expert. I am not a sleep expert. I actually feel like I stink at it. I feel like it's my biggest weakness, my biggest nemesis. And anytime with 2 of my 5 babies, I actually got a customized sleep plan from the Baby Sleep site and had a consultant available to me by email. You guys, it literally saved my life because I did not know what else to do with a couple of my babies. So, Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Oh, I'm so happy to talk with you today. I've been following you for a long time as well, so it's mutual.
Yeah, we go way back. It's like this weird internet kind of other mom doing the entrepreneur thing while
Mhm.
raising kids and stuff. We
Yeah,
have so much to talk about. We will try to keep it just to sleep today, though.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, way back when, I mean, there are so many gimmicky ideas about baby sleep. There's so much pressure out there. There's so much misinformation. There's so much, you have to do it this way, or don't do it at all, or oh my gosh, it just runs the gamut. Just like with potty training, you've got so much stuff to sift through as a new parent. It can be overwhelming. So today we're going to talk about what Nicole does and how they go about addressing baby sleep at the Baby Sleep site. So I'm just going to share a little bit about the site. It's at babysleepsite.com, and I will put all this in the show notes, you guys. They have a rather large Facebook following, Facebook/Baby Sleep Site, and you can also find them on Instagram. Is it at Baby Sleep Site?
Yep.
Yep, and we'll link to all that as well. But basically, Baby Sleep Site helps tired parents everywhere with personalized sleep plans, sample schedules, guides, and other resources. They have a free guide just like I do, and lots of ways. The blog is really extensive. I've always gone through there and searched, and the members site is awesome. I'll tell you what, everything you need. It's kind of like the Go Diaper Free parallel in this baby sleep world. So, like, I do EC, she does sleep, and we kind of, I don't know, they're just same kind of place where you can literally go there and find out everything you need. And a bit about Nicole. She's a married mother of 2 wonderful boys and the lead sleep consultant and owner of the Baby Sleep site, which she founded in 2008, just 2 years before I founded Go Diaper Free. And this is a little bit about what Nicole said. My eldest son was a baby. He had a lot of sleep problems. Sleep like a baby? Yeah, right. You had better hope you never sleep like my baby did. He would wake up every 1 or 2 hours all night long. I had to do so much to get him through the night. By thoroughly researching the key literature and the scientific reports, I became an expert in sleep methods, scheduling routines, babies' development needs, and more. I overcame my son's sleeping issues in a way that matched my own parenting style. And you guys, that part is key, that matched her parenting style. And I knew it was my mission to help other tired parents find their child's sleep. And I just love how it's just everything you guys do is so custom to the individual parent. Can you speak a little bit more as to why you decided to go about it that way instead of just teaching everybody what you did for your child?
Yes, absolutely. So early on, I learned just how different all babies are. So my first son, he came out kind of allergic to sleep almost, like he just fought it all the time. And he's 16 years old now, and he still kind of thinks it's a waste of time, to be honest. But I try to educate him on the importance of sleep for all of us. So, but yeah, so then once I finally got him sleeping, my youngest came about, and he's 14 now. They're about 2 years apart, and he wasn't the best sleeper, but he was a better sleeper. But I learned just all about temperament traits and how all babies are different, from how regular they are to just kind of their first reaction to things and things like that. So for me, when I was reading all of the baby sleep books, they all conflicted and went against each other, and do it my way or take the highway and different things like that. And so for me, it was very important that I found something that felt good to me. For example, some of the books said my baby didn't have to eat at night after, I don't know, 8 weeks old or something like that. But I knew that just didn't feel right to me, especially being a breastfeeding mom. And my son just couldn't do that. But I knew it could be better than, or I thought it could be better than waking up every 1 to 2 hours. So there was a big difference from no feedings during the night to, waking up every 1 to 2 hours.
And I have to
So,
say, with my first child, I was up every 1 to 2 hours. I co-slept with him, and he would want a nurse, and then
yeah.
I'd potty him because that's what we did, and he insisted, and it was like that for 2 years, and I was a hot mess at the end of all of that. Waking up every
Yes.
2 hours might sound like you feel like you're doing the right thing, but are you? And is your
Right.
child really getting enough rest too?
Right. That's exactly right. Because you're not getting enough sleep. They're not getting enough sleep. The entire family really struggles in that way. And you're a very patient mom to wait 2 years, because I started feeling depressed. I was going to bed at 7 o'clock at night. I couldn't spend any time with my husband, and I started getting really just sleep deprived and frustrated. So I've made it my mission to take a holistic approach to sleep. The other thing that's important to note, that there's a lot of sleep consultants out there that focus a lot on sleep training or sleep coaching, as we call it. But also there's a lot, in schedules, different things that can impact sleep that doesn't require sleep coaching or sleep training. So we really try to look at everything. How much milk does baby need in a 24-hour period? That every baby is different, and every mother baby pair is unique as well. My two boys ate very differently as well. So I learned very early on that you have to have a different approach for different types of babies. And now that I've been a sleep consultant for 14 years, I've worked with thousands of parents, so I can draw on my experience of, oh, this type of baby, needs this kind of approach. And I can just draw on experience where I can fast track you on the road to a better sleep, because you don't have to do all the experimentation that I had to do.
That is awesome. I love that because at Go Diaper Free, I do the same exact thing with EC. It's like it's so flexible, so customizable, and should be, because every baby's different. Every parent, every mom is different, and every family unit is different. I was consulting with someone in Australia last night, and I rarely do consultations anymore, but she's like really big, famous, whatever. We have and I was like, okay, well, I will definitely just DM me, and we'll get
Yeah.
on. And I was like, I had to adapt what I teach to their very unique dietary system. Her baby is pooping 7 times a day. And I
Oh,
was like, wow. And this feels really right to them because they give a lot of fiber and natural things and everything. But as a consultant myself, it's like, how challenging is it to customize what we're doing for them? Like, okay, what I would have said for your baby, I will not. You actually need to do this other thing. And so everybody listening or watching, like, you have got to know that there is no one size fits all for EC. There's no one size fits all for sleeping. There's not any for breastfeeding, all the things that we face. It would be great if we just lived in a big tribe and we could just know going into it what to do and
yeah.
have lots of moms around us to help us, but we
Yeah.
don't. So that's where somebody like Nicole definitely comes in.
Yes, I thought
Yeah.
of you like maybe a month or two ago. I was working with a family, and they were doing EC. And you know how some people use the potty at night and some don't. And so this particular family was trying not to use the potty at night, but their baby just said, I'm not going in a diaper. I'm sorry. So you really have to be flexible and try to, respect the baby and of what they have kind of adapted as their routine as well. So that was a really interesting case, because that was the first time, I think, in 14 years. Every time I think I've seen it all, that, something new happens, but at least I'm able to kind of help guide them and say, and set expectations. Sometimes it's just about expectations, as far as, you can only make your baby do so much. So sometimes we have to just kind of realize that we're adding the baby into our lifestyle, and we can't always expect them to just adapt to ours. It has to be a whole family unit where everybody can thrive.
Yeah, it's a team effort for sure. And it's never going to look like what you thought it would look like. And it will never look like what it looked like when you were a child with your parents.
That's
And even
right.
if you want to go the direct opposite, your child might not. So we
Yeah.
really have to, and I feel like something else we have in common is just this responsiveness.
Yes.
So we are seeing what this child needs and giving that child what they need, instead of just applying here, this thing will fix everybody. If anybody ever
Exactly.
tells you that they can fix everything with the same one sleep training or even potty training method, they're wrong. And that's
Right.
why it's so important that you have a community aspect to what you offer, and I
Yeah.
do as well. So you've got coaches, I've got coaches. We just, we just, I feel like there is no way to do this without a community, and I appreciate that you do that as well.
Yes. We like to say we're an extension of your village or your
Yes,
virtual village.
exactly. Because
Yes.
we don't have that. And so many of us, we just had a
Yeah.
homeschool group this morning, and I've been hosting it on my property because I have 5 children and I cannot get anywhere on time with them.
Right.
It's just impossible. I've
I
given
can
up.
imagine.
And it's just, yeah, we are finding our village by creating that.
Mm.
So anyway, with sleep, you guys, Nicole has your back. And also she mentioned she worked with somebody who does EC. So I want to tell you a little quick story. I use the baby sleep site with Branson and Twyla, my third and fifth or fourth and fifth babies. I wish I had known about you with Kaiva. I wish I had known that I had a problem. I had postpartum depression with him, probably because I was way overextended
I can
into
imagine.
just doing too much attachment parenting to the like on steroids, and
Mhm.
really not taking care of myself.
Yeah.
So with Branson, I think he was 2 weeks old. He might have been 7 weeks old. He was
Okay.
very new, very young,
Mhm.
and really a joy of a baby. I would try to put him to bed at 7 p.m. and he would not. And I would spend 2, 3 hours trying to get him to go to sleep, and he would not. So I filled out the form on the baby sleep site. It's very long. I don't know if it still is, but it was like this really detailed survey because it is so custom.
Yeah.
And they had a question on there about, do you do elimination communication? And I was like, oh, okay, I've been following you for a long time, but I had no idea that you actually knew what it was.
Right.
And so I filled out the survey and everything. I had email support, so I relied on my consultant pretty heavily. I didn't get you, but I definitely I got somebody amazing, and I
Okay.
used it. And turns out I was trying to put my baby to bed too early, and
Mm.
putting him to bed at 9 p.m. actually ended up working perfectly for us.
Yeah.
And after 4 kids, you would think that I knew what I was doing, but again, I stink at the sleep part. I feel like maybe finally I'm okay at it. So,
Yeah.
but like it's never come naturally to me. I've always felt guilty about letting them cry a little bit or any of that. So
Yes.
anyway, I just so appreciated how that took that into consideration, because with a Go Diaper Free, we always say whatever gives the baby the best sleep and the whole family the best sleep at night is whether you should do nighttime EC or not.
Mm.
Usually the first 4 months we want to do nighttime EC because we're usually co-sleeping or we're very close. Just
Mhm.
very baby's waking up to nurse anyway, and usually it helps them go back to sleep more easily.
Yes.
Beyond that, when it starts to interfere with sleep, it's like a whole nother monster. So
Okay.
it's good. I feel like we're a good team in being able to address all of that. And I just wanted to share a little bit about how I was like desperately just out of at my wits' end, could not get this baby to sleep. So you
I
guys helped
bet.
me so much.
That's a very common misconception, I guess you could say, because when you Google about bedtimes for babies, usually you hear early bedtime, 7 p.m., between 6 and 8, but that's only after about, anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks old. And when your baby is younger, we often need to have a later bedtime. So it's not surprising. Oh, I'm so sorry you
Oh
went through
no.
that, though.
Oh
It's
no, but
so
I was like
exhausting.
on it. I was like, nope, I'm doing it. I'm getting my custom package. I don't care how much it costs. I'm going to do this because I cannot sleep.
I can
Terrible.
imagine, especially on your fourth child.
Yeah, and I had 3 other little ones. So it's like, this isn't working for me
I
at
always
all.
say I'm a better mom when I'm getting sleep. I can be more patient, more fun, not fall asleep on the floor of the playroom.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because I feel like so many moms, we're martyrs. We will give our left arm for our baby
Yeah.
and just do whatever it takes to give them everything they need. And it can go a little too far. So talk to us about the importance of the mom, and the dads too, sure, but I'm talking about moms right now,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
specifically we're the ones who have to get up with the newborn most of the time. And
Right.
how important is it for us to get good sleep throughout our baby's babyhood?
Well, I would definitely say it's very important in the sense, there's a lot of moms that contact us and they almost feel guilty that they're complaining, or they feel guilty that they're being selfish. And in my opinion, it's not a selfish thing to want to care for yourself as well. We need sleep for breast milk supply, to avoid postpartum depression. I mean, sleep is very crucial for everybody, really, but new moms included. Now, we're not going to get as much sleep. It's still normal for your newborn to wake up every 2 hours to eat. And then as they get older, every 3 hours. So that's already disrupted sleep. So if you're waking up even more frequently than that, you're probably really suffering. And I just, as we said before, I just think, especially when you have other children, but even if you only have one, you're going to be able to be a better mom, a better driver. I mean, sometimes it could be downright dangerous to drive your baby around when you're very sleep deprived. So it's not a selfish thing to want the best for the entire family. When mom is thriving, the entire family thrives. I know when I'm sick or something like that, the entire family is a little bit discombobulated, and my boys are even older now. So, and that's even, more true when you have a baby and other people depending on you. So try not to feel like you're doing something that is selfish in any way because you want what's best for your baby. We all do.
And talk about how important it is for the baby to get really good, deep, unbroken sleep, and how connecting those sleep cycles, how important it is for them to learn how to do that and really get nourishing sleep.
Yes, I mean, our growth hormone is released when we're sleeping. It's just very important for human development and growth. And in addition, of course, many people, babies included, are irritable. So they're going to be happier if they're getting sleep. Now, we do work with some families. I would say what's most challenging is when you have a baby who's happy no matter how much sleep they're getting. It could be kind of misleading. You think they're getting enough sleep, but they're not because they're so happy all the time. My son was not like that. He was very irritable when he didn't sleep. So it really gave me even more motivation to teach him how to put sleep cycles together and get that unbroken sleep, because otherwise we were both miserable during the day trying to,
Is there a
navigate.
word for this? Because
Yeah.
there's hangry when you're angry and you're
Yes.
hungry. Is there like slangry or sleep? I don't know.
Not that I've heard, just
Just
irritable.
It's
Yeah.
a thing
Sleep
for me.
deprived.
I am very irritable when I don't get a full night's sleep. And actually, ever since I started having kids, I have not had a single full night's sleep because I'm wakeable. That's how we're
Yes.
supposed to be, right? We get that little
Yes.
increase in anxiety and it kind of never goes away, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Especially when my 16-year-old's driving now. Oh, goodness. I can't even go to bed until he's home safe. So
Right.
yeah, the worry doesn't go away. I've heard even when they go to college. So yeah, we're in it for
It's
a
just
long
permanent.
time now.
Ladies, get used to it.
Yes, exactly. But with 5 children, I only have two. So some nights I'm sleeping straight through now, but it took a long time to get there. I would say at
Well,
least a
silly me's
decade.
got a kitten and I have a rooster and that stupid thing crows at 4:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I could have got a whole night's sleep and now the animals wake me up. So
Yes, exactly. I know. And when my boys were young, if it wasn't one, it was the other. So I can
right.
only
Oh,
imagine with
with
five
5, let
kids.
me tell you, it's like ping pong or something. It's like I don't know. I can't even explain what
Yeah.
you just, especially if you're passing around illness, it
Yes.
is exhausting. So with
Yeah.
just one baby and just a mom and a dad,
Mhm.
and having a baby that is not sleeping through the night. So oftentimes moms will hear, "Oh, you should sleep train." I'm kind of like, I don't know, you should use formula or you should, that's almost the category it goes in. Potty training is in the same
Yeah.
category. You should not do
Yeah.
that because it's not natural and da, da, da. So tell me about this because it kept me, I'll just speak from experience. It kept me from helping my baby sleep, my first one. It
Mhm.
kept both of us from optimum health because we were both very irritable because of not sleeping. I literally would put him down, look in the room, and then I'd see his arm flap up, and then within seconds he'd be crying. The kid
Mhm.
would not nap without being in the Moby wrap, and it was terrible. So I'd walk 2 miles every day just to
Oh,
get him to sleep, and then
yeah.
he'd sleep attached to my breast, and it was literally like that for 2 years because
Yeah.
I thought sleep training was bad and wrong. My sister had me let her daughter cry it out when I was babysitting one time, and I ended up picking up that baby and putting her on my chest and sleeping with her on the couch. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. So tell me about this. I know you've mentioned this a lot on your social media. Sleep training has a bad reputation as slowly being a cry it out method. Can you
Mhm.
tell me what's actually true?
Right. So that's a big misconception that I've been fighting for, 16 years or 14 years. And that's definitely an important aspect. So a lot of times when people hear sleep training, they think put the baby down and let them cry and leave the room and don't go back. And that is one method that some people extremely use. But at the baby sleep site, we have gentle sleep solutions, and we try to support the child, just like if they're learning to walk and you're holding their hands. And it's not that you're there for support, but they obviously have to learn how to do it on their own. So I always say it's like two extremes. On one end, they're completely dependent on you to sleep, and on the other end, they're completely independent. Let me tell you, it takes a decade to get to independence. When they don't need help with brushing their teeth or going potty, that's a very long process, and there's a lot in between. So I always tell people, because we help people even who want to continue co-sleeping. Let's say you're bed sharing and a baby's waking up every hour, and they want to continue bed sharing, but they just don't want to wake up every hour. So there are so many ways that we can help them learn. Now, the number one thing to keep in mind, we all have what are called sleep associations. So that's essentially what sleep training or sleep coaching is changing your baby's sleep association. So I sleep on a mattress, on a pillow with a blanket. If I woke up at 2 a.m. and my pillow's gone, I would wake up more fully. I'd look for my pillow. I'd have trouble going back to sleep. I might even wake up my husband and say, "Hey, have you seen my pillow?" Because that's how I associate going to sleep. So if your baby is, let's say, suckling at the breast or being rocked or bounced, anything that's very repetitive in nature, then when they go through their sleep cycles, which is very normal, we all wake up between sleep cycles, just most of us just go straight into another one. But if they need something repeated, like bouncing on a yoga ball, which is very common, then that's when they wake up.
Yeah.
So that's what sleep coaching is. So if you can teach your baby to sleep next to you in a bed, or teach them to go to sleep in your arms without bouncing. And then a lot of times we just make baby steps. We teach them one skill, just like we teach them to eat. You teach them to eat with their fingers, then you teach them with the fork. And if you take baby steps, really the pace is up to you in this spectrum of dependent sleep versus independent. You can gently make very small changes. Sometimes all we do is change the schedule. We don't even do sleep training. So there's a lot that encompasses teaching healthy sleep habits. And that's what I always try to tell people. And if you ever get to the point where because I can't promise no crying. So that's the hard part, is let's say when I was teaching my son that he didn't need to be rocked to sleep the entire time, he complained a little bit about that, but I was with him every step of the way, soothing him, showing him that he doesn't need to be moving at a fast pace in order to sleep. So I can't promise no crying, but if you ever get to the point where it's outside your comfort zone, that he's crying too hard, then you can always stop, slow down, take a step back. So, and that's what we work with. We're coaches with parents, teaching them kind of when to push forward, when to go back. And the pace is up to you. What I typically say is it might take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to kind of achieve your goals usually. And for some people, they take, 1 to 3 months. It kind of depends on what your goals are, how fast you want to get there. Some people get to a certain point, they say, "You know what, I'm good enough for now. This is great. So I'll revisit that other thing in a few months." That particularly applies to night weaning, for example, because if we get a 6-month-old waking up every 2 hours to eat, and we get them to waking twice a night, maybe or maybe not, they can get down to one feeding. But for a lot of people, I'm fine with feeding twice a night. Great. We don't have a pre-described, this is your success. You tell us when you feel you're in a good spot. And that's what's really important to know, is that don't let your sleep consultant tell you you're not done yet if you feel like this is good for our family.
Right. The first thing that I train all my coaches to do, and there are coaches, you guys, all over the world. I've trained over 300 that are active and have groups in their areas. And wow, it's ask the mom first what her intuition is saying about this.
Yeah.
Because that's the first place where we have a big resource. If we could just quiet everything down for a moment and have another grown up to talk to and go, "You know what? I'm actually kind of feeling like I don't want to be up every 2 hours.
Yes.
Can I just admit that to you?" And then you can start having a conversation about what actually works for your family. But it really does start with the mom. And, the dad's important too, but the mom has a very specific role in all of this. And I feel like it's just so important to try to carve out some kind of time to follow that and to find out what do I really want. And sometimes we don't even know what we want because we don't know what's okay or not okay. So with the try it out kind of stuff, my sister had given me that one example, and I was like, no way am I doing that.
Right.
I read Bringing Up Bebe, and they talk about the pause. So that's
Mhm.
that French parenting book. And the
Mhm.
pause was just give it 5 minutes. Now, with an
Mhm.
EC signal, I don't give it 5 minutes because then I've missed a pee or a poop, and that's not
Right.
good.
Right.
But
Right.
with, like laying them down in the crib and then just waiting 5 minutes and seeing what happens. We
Mhm.
did that with my second child. And then the next day it was only 3 minutes. And the next day it was only 2 minutes. And then it was nothing. And
Yes.
then she was connecting her sleep cycles and she'd wake up in between. And
Mhm.
this was at several months old. So we weren't needing to nurse as much at all, if at all, at night anymore. And she
Yes.
started to connect those. It was like magic. So
Yeah.
it could be anything, but like having just a little bit more of an open mind of,
Mhm.
okay, I thought I was going to do it this way, but it's actually not working for me. So how can I adjust and kind of be open to other possibilities? It's almost like
Absolutely.
planning a home birth and you end up with a cesarean birth.
Right.
You're just like,
That's right.
that's not what I intended, but that's what
Right.
happened. But they kind
Exactly.
of have to pivot, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's so true.
And like, okay, so tell me what you think about nursing to sleep.
Well, I always try to tell people because some people will say, "Oh, that's bad," but I don't think it's a bad thing. Um, the thing that I always say, it's not a problem until it's a problem. There are
Yeah.
many parents who will nurse to sleep and the baby sleeps through the night. There's no problem. If you're happy, they're happy.
And
Now,
they'll stay dry all night, which is unbelievable. Like,
yes.
it's just an
So
anomaly. Fine.
So if you are happy with how things are, I always tell people don't change something because it might become a problem later.
Or don't make a problem where there's not already one.
Exactly, exactly. Because if you're happy and they're happy and they're sleeping well and everybody's thriving, there's really no reason to change it. Because I always say, just having two boys who have gone through many stages, there's going to be things that change. When they were one, it was so cute when they ran around the house, but when they got older, that's not so cute
No.
anymore. So we always have to change our parenting and change like the rules and different things. So if nursing to sleep works at 6 months and then all of a sudden they're two and it's not working so much, then maybe that's when you change it. But there's not like a pre-described like you should never nurse to
Right.
sleep and you should never rock to sleep. If I loved rocking my boys actually. If I had been able to rock them to sleep and they slept all night, I would have kept doing it.
So
I
yeah, can
loved it.
we go back to that again? Because I definitely bounced my second one on the ball,
Yes.
and then my ex husband, he had to bounce her for like, I swear it was hours.
Oh
And she
no.
finally get to sleep, and I was like, this is a little excessive. So
Yeah.
you say no to that, right?
Well, in general, if it's not working in
If they're
terms of
waking up throughout the night and you're
yeah,
bouncing them to sleep
yeah,
over
or if it's
hours.
taking 1 to 2, first of all, if it's taking 1 to 2 hours to bounce to sleep, we would look at the schedule first and
Right.
make sure that you're doing it the right time.
Long
That's the
time.
number
Yeah.
one thing. But
Same
if,
thing with EC, by the way. Hey,
yeah,
you might want to check in with your baby's natural rhythms. This isn't really working.
exactly,
Great.
exactly. But in general, again, if you're bouncing or rocking your baby to sleep and they sleep all night, it takes 5 to 10 minutes to get them to sleep and everybody's
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
That's kind of sometimes it's a personal choice too. My boys eventually stopped wanting to be rocked. So if they had
My
slept
3-year-old
well,
just told me she doesn't want to rock anymore. And I'm like,
oh,
oh, it's terrible.
oh, yeah, I know. See, it will happen. They don't go to college wanting to get rocked to sleep,
No, it's going to change. Right.
But
Okay.
if
So,
you're but if you're rocking to sleep and they wake up every 1 to 2 hours and everyone's suffering, then again,
yeah,
but I still rocked my boys. I just didn't rock them all the way to sleep. So we did it as part of the routine. Then I
part of
put
the
them
routine.
down and I taught them to sleep the rest of the way. So
I love that.
yeah, and that's the other thing that some people think sleep training means it's going to be cold process. Like I have to not look at my baby, put
Put
them
them down
down
and
and
leave the
walk
room.
out. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. But we cuddled for a long time. We rocked for a long time. I'm a very touchy feely person. So we still had a really strong bond. And,
And a
I
good
just,
routine. And I just
yes,
want to say to everybody, you guys know how much I stress the routine for the potty routine. The routine is almost more important than the act of actually using the toilet.
yes,
This familiarity and the repetition and consistency is what helps our babies. If we're wishy-washy and all over the place, our babies are going to respond the same, right?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, the
Right.
routine is so important and it's
Yeah.
so bonding for you as well.
It's so bonding. Both of these it sound very high touch, very complimentary, which is well, again why I've been dying to talk to you. I'm so glad.
Yes.
All right, I have a couple more quick questions and then we're going to wrap up. So,
Oh, for
yay
sure.
or nay to baby swing for naps?
Well, yeah, technically, unless it's approved as a sleep device, you're not supposed to use a swing for sleep. A lot of people do. Again, that's the movement part. Sometimes they can unnaturally lengthen a nap that generally wouldn't be 3 hours, and that can mess up the rest of your schedule, something like that.
Yeah.
So, people use it in a pinch, but generally, I'm a no on that.
All right. And how about pacifiers?
Pacifiers, I mean, dentists, pediatric dentists do have a problem with it after a certain age, but in general, they're supposed to help with SIDS prevention. Now, if it becomes a sleep crutch that needs to be repeated throughout the night, then we try to use it
Like it
just at
falls out
bedtime.
and they just freak out and wake up. That was
Yeah,
my
there's
experience.
different variables. So
Yeah.
some babies use it to fall asleep, they spit it out, and they don't need it the rest of the night.
Right.
That's okay. Some babies need it in constantly, like 100% of the time. That's tougher for sleep, and we usually have to take it away in that case. And then there's somewhere in between where they use it to sleep. They might need it replaced once or twice a night. If it's manageable, it's
So if it
okay.
distracts from the task, we're going to
Yeah,
say no. And if
yeah.
it helps with the task, we're going to say yes.
Yes, I know. They could be a godsend or not.
That's
So,
the same with us, same with the
yeah.
potty tribe. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so again, that's a personal, like, I need to like look at the situation, because there are some babies who have very strong need to suck. So if you take it away,
Right.
you can accidentally replace it with breastfeeding, or you have a very unhappy baby. Whereas some babies just don't need to suck that much.
This is
So
where you can go down a rabbit hole looking at Nicole's blog, or you can just bite the bullet and just get a plan.
yeah,
And you guys have those quick plans still too, right?
yes, we do. That's
Yeah,
right.
so
They're
there's a less
express food
expensive
plan.
one that you can just
Yes,
get, and it's not quite as custom. And then there's the one I got, which I think was 150 or 200 bucks. I don't know. It doesn't even matter. It
yes,
saved my whole sanity. So,
yes. Good.
and it came
Yes.
with like I didn't even use all the email follow ups that I had bought. I just literally was like a couple of sessions, and I was like, okay, I'm good. I've got this. It was a very small
I
dose.
know, because when people are signing up, they probably think, oh, 4 emails isn't that much, but really, a lot of people kind of use one or two to help implement the plan, because we
And then
answer a
they're
fee
good.
for free right after you get the plan anyway. So it's like, and really, and the other thing is we grow with you. So a lot of people might use one or two to implement the plan, and then we don't hear from you for 3 or 4 months. You're like, oh, my baby's dropping a nap. Can you help me with my new schedule? And that we love doing that.
And you can do that. You can wait a little while to use the rest of them.
Yes, they're good for about 6 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even need it because again, you learn, and with this baby, and then you're just like, okay, I've unlocked the two things that might have been blocking me, and I'm good to go. Which is
Yeah.
also why. So my book comes with a support forum run by my coaches, and I'm like, literally one question could be the difference between you giving up or keeping up with this, and
That's
it
right.
could be just a little thing. So we need to rely on each other as that community for sure.
That's
Okay,
right. When
so
somebody is like saving their emails and not asking questions, I'm like, no, let us help you.
let us help you. Please speak up. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like the rest of the questions I had written down, we have really covered a lot of it. I would encourage everybody listening and watching to look at their site, look at babysleepsite.com for how often babies should nap and be awake at various ages. That was one of the biggest things I had a question about with my newborn. There are various sample schedules on there, and you can probably find some things to help you today with that. And please visit their site. So here's the thing, I'm also an affiliate of Nicole's. This is not why I'm interviewing you, because I was a customer first. But if you use my link, then that helps me to keep doing what I do as well. So if you go to godiaperfree.com/baby sleep site, SITE, you will go to her site through my link, and I will give you a high five. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. But
Yes.
really, that's not why I'm doing this. I really could care less. If you really want to use my link or not, that's your choice. But I do want to say that there is no way I could have gotten through a couple of my baby's babyhood without this site. So I am just wholeheartedly, I run into somebody on the street and just like, oh, you're having trouble with that? It's okay. It's normal. Did you know you don't have to stay stuck? This is okay. You're going to get help and you're going to be fine.
Yes.
And there is a rabbit hole on the internet, and I just would advise stay away from that. You and your consultants work with these individual families, so just one-on-one, and give specific help based on the parenting style. And that's the thing. So you can be who you are. I know my followers are different. We
Yeah.
run against the grain. We are doing something that is totally radical, yet totally natural and ancient. So similar to what you're doing, it's very intuitive and personal, and something that we want to really protect and not let, the mainstream kind of influence. We want to have that bond protected with our babies so we can parent the way that we want to, in the way that we feel is right. So
Yes.
I definitely encourage all of you to go and visit Nicole. And Nicole, do you have anything else that you're offering that I don't know about, or anywhere else we can find you?
I think you covered it all. Yeah, we just love to work with families. I find it very rewarding when I get the emails. You saved my marriage. Because I know husbands sometimes get tired of hearing about sleep and that kind of thing. I know mine did. So I just love doing what I do. I love talking to new moms all the time. And one thing that you touched on earlier, we make it a big point to educate moms on why we're recommending what we're doing so that you can move forward on your own as well. And I love giving new moms confidence because sometimes they kind of have a gut feel, especially when I'm doing like a free 15-minute evaluation. Sometimes I tell people, you know what, this is pretty good and I wouldn't change it, because
Right.
what they hear on the internet might
They feel
be
like they need
not
to
what they're
change
doing.
and be like everybody else. Totally. Mine come to me too. And they're like, what do I need to be doing right now? I'm like, nothing. You're doing
Yeah.
great.
Yes, exactly. So I love talking to new moms and helping them have that confidence of being a new mom.
I tell you what, when you have sleep in the bag, you have so much stability in your family. I
Yes.
really appreciate all that you do. And also
Thank
you can
you.
ask in the survey on her site. You can ask for, I want all the details or I don't want any details. Just give
Yeah,
me the plan. Just tell me
that's
what to
right.
do.
That's
So if you're
right.
like at your limit, and you're like, I cannot read another thing on this topic or I will throw up.
Yeah,
Just you can select to which extent you want to be
that's right.
bombarded with information or not.
That's right.
Yeah, which is awesome because I'm like, I go, 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 and I don't have time for a lot.
Right. That's right.
Okay, so I'm going to put all the links in the show notes. You guys, you can find that at godiaperfree.com/202. Thank you for listening all the way through the end and for watching. And I hope you've gotten some amazing things. Just if anything, just a little bit more confidence of, and maybe courage to just say, hey, I kind of need help with this, or wow, what we're doing is actually great. And I feel better just having heard this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Nicole, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun. Thank you.
And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, you too. Bye.